Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 8, text number 25. Naradastad upakarnya Naradastad upakarnya Jnatva tasya chikirshitam Jnatva tasya chikirshitam Sprishtva murdhani agagnena Sprishtva murdhani agagnena Panina praha vismitaha Pranina praha vishmitaha. Narada, the great sage Narada. Tat, that. Upakarnya, overhearing. Jnatva, and knowing. Tasya, his. Dhruva Maharaj. Chikirshitam, activities. Sprishtva, by touching. Murdhani, on the head. Agagnena, which can drive away all sinful activities. Panina, by the hand. Praha, said. Vismitaha, being surprised. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The great sage Narada overheard this news and understanding all the activities of Dhruva Maharaj, he was struck with wonder. He approached Dhruva and touching the boy's head with his all virtuous hand, he spoke as follows. Purport. When Dhruva Maharaj was talking with his mother Suniti of all the incidents that had taken place in the palace, Narada was not present. Thus the question may be raised how Narada overheard all these topics. The answer is that Narada is Trikalajna. He is so powerful that he can understand the past, future and present of everyone's heart, just like the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, after understanding the strong determination of Dhruva Maharaj, Narada came to help him. It may be explained in this way. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in everyone's heart, and as soon as he understands that a living entity is serious about entering the devotional service, he sends his representative. In this way, Narada was sent to Dhruva Maharaj. This is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bija. By the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, one can enter into devotional service. Because of Dhruva Maharaj's determination, Krishna, the Super Soul, immediately sent his representative, Narada, to initiate him. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat the translation. The great sage Narada overheard this news, and understanding all the activities of Dhruva Maharaj, he was struck with wonder. He approached Dhruva and touching the boy's head with his all virtuous hand, he spoke as follows. So, the determination of Dhruva Maharaj, especially how a small child can also have such a deep feeling is not surprising, because feelings, whether it is a child or an adult, it can be very deep. Unlike thinking, for a child, because it is not developed, it may not be very deep. But feeling is something, even when a child is born, comes out into this material world, first thing is he cries, he or she cries. So there is a feeling of helplessness, feeling of want, etc. So feeling is at the root of even material existence. It is because of a feeling independent of Krishna that the entire material existence is built around each of us, because of the feeling of wanting to be independent, which is not our nature. Our original feeling is that of being completely dependent upon the Lord. So our original feeling gets covered and we identify with the feelings of false ego. So, our ability to feel is applied on the false ego or the characters on the screen. This entire material world is a screen, three-dimensional screen of existence, the material existence. And in this, we identify ourselves with the different bodies, our own body, others' bodies, we identify. And then we weave in our consciousness, we weave a world and try to experience independent enjoyment, independent pleasure, independent feeling of happiness. All this is what every living entity in the material world is trying. So, even though Dhruva Maharaj is a very small boy, but still his determination to meet Vishnu, to find Narayana, to find God, as Suniti, his mother, told that only person who can solve your problem is the Supreme Lord, and therefore you go in search of him. And Dhruva Maharaj, a small boy, not caring for anything, so much determination, he left the palace in search of God, in search of the Supreme Lord who can solve his problem, as he believed what his mother said. Now, a very important principle in the material world is being discussed here in the purport. From this incident, what is this? What happened here? Narada Rishi immediately reached there to bless him, to guide him, to lead him, to have darshan of the Supreme Lord, to have realization of the Supreme Lord. He appeared there. As Prabhupada explains, he is a Trikalagnya. He knows present, past, future, because he is a servant of the Lord. Being the servant of the pure servant of the Lord, for the service of the Lord, there is no limitation of time and space for a devotee. Through Super Soul, everything is like Super Soul is all-pervading. All the benefits of being all-pervading is also shared by pure devotees according to their needs. So basically, the Lord is in the heart of all living entities as a Super Soul. He is our best friend. He has been accompanying us for millions and millions of lives. Unconditionally, he has been fulfilling our desire for independent enjoyment, happiness, pleasure. But according to law of karma, he has been facilitating that seated in our heart in a very personal way. The spirit soul, being Brahman, actually cannot do any activity in matter. Matter cannot be moved by anybody other than the master of the matter and material world, which is the Paramatma, Param Ishvara. Even demigods cannot. And demigods also, every living entity is having, not a blade of grass will move without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, Sri Vishnu. So that is the first thing that we need to understand in Krishna consciousness is, as Krishna himself in the 18th chapter, he reveals all these things, that I am actually seated in everybody's heart. And this yantra is running because of my presence, and you are also there. I am running by my presence. You are able to perceive anything in the material world. The spirit cannot experience matter because matter is something else. But the material energy consists of, all these 24 elements. These 24 elements, they are activated by the presence of the super soul. Just like a robot. Finally, robot has to be connected to some electric current or something for it to act. Pull out the plug, or battery or something has to be there. In the same way, this body, this robot, biophysical robot, it is energized by Paramatma. He is seated in each of our heart and is energized. That is what he means by not a blade of grass will move without his sanction. Bhagavatam says that I cannot experience seeing anything unless the super soul is seeing that first. I cannot hear anything unless the super soul has heard that, because material sound has to be converted into a sound that I can experience. So these are all the perception, touching, smelling, tasting, hearing, all those things. For the spirit soul to experience all these things in the material world, it is possible only because of the Paramatma. So that is one function of the Paramatma. Another function of the Paramatma is he not only gives us an opportunity to have perceptions, 5 kinds of perception. I have a vocabulary of sight, smell, taste, all those things. So all those remembrance also comes from Paramatma. Mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha. So Paramatma is also the observer, upadrishta. That means he is seated in our heart and seeing all our actions and accumulation of reactions. And according to that, when you desire, when the living entity desires something, then the Lord alone has to sanction that. When he sanctions that, then the material energy will move in that direction. So, and he is very neutral, he sanctions. How the Lord sanctions the super soul is also in the form of Kala, the plenary portion of the Lord. As a plenary portion of the Lord is the impersonal dispensation of justice, equality and justice is inbuilt in the Kala. So Kala sees as you deserve, then the super soul sanctions. But super soul has to sanction. That is why he is seated in everybody's heart. Kala is like the prosecution. In a case, if you see in a criminal case, the prosecution presents all the evidence, and then the prosecution quotes different section of the criminal law and says 5 years imprisonment should be given for this mistake, and then all the evidence is produced. Judge is sitting there, upadrishta, now he is anumanta, now he has to pass the judgment. So in the same way, living entities create so many desires. As soon as desires are created, immediately, whether that is to be sanctioned or not, Kala presents before the Lord. Kala is serving the Lord. So instantly the Lord is either sanctioning or not sanctioning. If sanctions, then you get the direction, then you get the energy, then you get everything, you know how which way to go and everything, and reach that desire. So this is another activity that the super soul is engaged in. Without the super soul, there is no question of material existence at all for living entity. He cannot experience material existence. So this is the in the midst of all these things. So the Lord is Upadrishta, Hanumanta. Through Kala he is driving the material energy to fulfillment of desires or non-fulfillment of desires. Then he is seated in our heart, gives us remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. He makes basic perceptions possible. In other words, we are completely intertwined. The Jiva is intertwined in the Super Soul. He cannot exist in this material world. Whether it is atheist, non-atheist, Jiva, anybody is intertwined in this material world. We can also say that he is a Super Soul is the medium between the Jiva and the material energy. Now here is a very important another role of Super Soul that is being described here. That is what today's verse is about. The Super Soul, as soon as a living entity, just like the living entity has so many material desires, and through material laws of nature is facilitating fulfillment of those rasas for the Jivas. And if the living entity starts seriously questioning about who is my eternal relative, where is my eternal situation, where is my eternal happiness, when he starts asking that question, then he is preparing, that is Brahma Jijnasa. Beyond this body, beyond this bodily life, when questions are asked about oneself, who am I? That is Brahma Jijnasa. Jijnasa begins. And Brahma Jijnasa begins due to various reasons, sometimes association with the right people also, or Brahma Jijnasa begins because Maya nicely beats the living entity and he asks various questions. And the living entity, by nature, he wants Sat, Chit and Ananda. And because this Sat, Chit, Ananda is always frustrated, Sat means eternity. Around him he doesn't see eternity anywhere. Everything is dying. Everything is temporary. Asat. But his desire is Sat. So there is a desire, that means my instinct is towards eternity. But everything is going, nothing I see is eternal here. So there is a whole deficit. My nature is eternal, but nothing is eternal. So the question comes, where is eternal? Because my taste, my nature is eternal relationship, my eternal things, eternal body, eternal everything, eternal rasa. So when that is not fulfilled, he asks questions. Is it there? Where is eternity? Where is eternal? And knowledge. Similarly, Sat, Chit and Ananda. Ananda also. Different kinds of Ananda rasa he is seeking in this material world. He wants eternal Ananda. Ananda means love, pleasure, intimacy, play, all those things. Where is that eternal? Nothing is eternal in the material world. So actually it is not Ananda, it is fake Ananda. In the material world also we think I am the body and we hardly think that we are growing old. We always think we will be there by default. The mind always thinks that, I am this body, I will exist. Everything that it does is based on that. If living entity had strong realization that the body is growing old, then that is a Very rare. Everybody from Maya is always by default thinking this body is eternal, Sat. Who are you? I am this body, Sat. So he is thinking it is Sat, but in reality it is Asat. So he is always pasting Sat on Asat. He is always seeking truth, seeking knowledge, but he pastes that on ignorance. I am this body, or I am independent. All this he is pasting. This is Achit. Nirananda is seeking pure love, but he is pasting that love on whatever in the material world. On Asat he is pasting love. So Brahma Jijnasa means questioning. That is, now we are trying to come to the point where how the living entity comes to Krishna, comes to Guru, how Guru is brought to the living entity. We all have spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. This is a matter of realization for all of us, that how without your own planning you came across Prabhupada. Without your planning you came across Prabhupada. Who planned? Super Soul planned. Usually we say, no, I am in control of my life. I planned, so today, I am here. Your whole life has changed, and that is based on not your plan. You've taken a completely different route. Sometimes people say, okay, I want to be an engineer, so I went to engineering college, became an engineer. Today I'm, 30 years I'm engineer, I did this, all this. Okay, you can say, okay, I desire to be engineer, and like that. Therefore, I am in this line. And suppose I tell you that, your entire life, rest of you, say you're 20 years old, 21 years old. Your entire life is going to be based on not any of your plans. Somebody else is planned. Because of your Brahma Jijnasa, or Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, Krishna says, in all 4 types of people. Any 4, does not matter. Super Soul immediately intervenes there. Not only Brahma Jijnasa, he intervenes there. The Paramatma intervenes and immediately reaches a spiritual master, gives him an association of a spiritual master, because spiritual master is traveling all over the universe. Pure devotees are traveling all over the universe. To serve Krishna in his mission of recovering the lost living entities, the lost souls. So therefore, this is another tattva, another principle. Guru tattva is operating everywhere in the material world, where the message of Krishna is passed down to the living entity who is seeking him. Seeking him. Very indirectly also, when somebody is really after Satchit Ananda, it is a different way of seeking. He may not know he is seeking Krishna. But perfection of Satchit Ananda is only in Krishna. So when he seeks, then if the right time, the super soul, the Paramatma in our heart is the one who has brought us to Prabhupada. Somebody gives us a book, we read. So that way we come Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Bija. Krishna as a super soul takes one to a Guru. Guru takes one to Krishna. Which Krishna? Super soul Krishna brings you a Guru, and Guru teaches you the right bhakti towards whichever Krishna you want. You want Ramachandra, Ramachandra Krishna. You want Narasimha, Narasimha Krishna. You want Gauranga, Gauranga Krishna. You want Goloka Krishna, Goloka Krishna. That particular which Krishna, that you have to learn from Guru, not from Super Soul. Because Super Soul is a receiver of worship, no? Only worshipper knows the... Because you have to learn how to worship, right? To learn how to worship, you need a worshipper. So bhakti is finally learnt from Guru. From Guru's bhavana, by association with Guru, you learn bhakti. Direction, Super Soul will give direction, will controlling the senses, Super Soul. All intelligence he will give you to control the senses, to understand matter and spirit, difference between matter and spirit. All this Paramatma will shine, this knowledge. But that devotion, that determination to serve the Supreme Lord, that attachment to Krishna, attachment to the particular mantra, holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is coming from Guru. That is why it is said, Bhakti Lata Bija. Guru sows the seed of bhakti in our heart. And then now next what happens? Okay, the Super Soul has brought us to Prabhupada. Now we have to follow Prabhupada's instructions. And in following Prabhupada's instruction, for what? To serve Krishna. Sadhana Bhakti. In Sadhana Bhakti, Guru says, do this, don't do this, all these things. So we have to learn how to be obedient to the spiritual master, who is spiritual master in a devotee's life is within and without. Within, I told you how he helps. Without, that means the external spiritual master. Just like we read Prabhupada Leelamrita, Prabhupada's determination, Prabhupada going in the ship, suffering heart attacks, and depending upon Krishna and preaching Krishna consciousness, and changing so many hearts. When you hear all these things, that Prabhupada's, that bhavana, that feeling of bhakti towards the Supreme Lord, that get transferred into our heart. We also start feeling. That is how we learn devotion from the devotion of the devotee. We learn determination to serve the Lord by touching the determination of the pure devotee. We learn how to be patient by seeing how a devotee is very patient. How patient Prabhupada was, how tolerant he was, how compassionate he was, how loving he was, how determined he was. The same thing here also we see when we hear Dhruva Maharaj's story. His Leela, when we hear, as we go on, if you see his determination. When you observe his determination, that is association. You also get a pinch of that determination. When you read this, you get that pinch of determination. Sometimes devotees say, how to get determination, Prabhu? You have to get determination. Determination is a feeling. Spiritual determination is a feeling. You get by observing or hearing devotees having determination. You observe that. Simply this is the meaning of association. In the association of devotees means not hearing only philosophy. People think association means I am hearing philosophy. That is one part. Association means, see, you just adopt those qualities. The qualities of the person, personal qualities just get transferred. Just like association with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He is all pure. Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Mukta, ever liberated. So when you associate with him, our soul also becomes ever liberated. Our soul also becomes Nitya Shuddha. Purna Shuddha. Purna Shuddha, Nitya Mukta. That is association. Like Prabhupada gives example of iron put in the fire. By association it becomes fire-like. Similarly, by association with Vaishnavas, with good qualities, without our knowing we develop, we grab that good quality in us. Our personality changes. Our personality changes. Just like devotees, they start associating with new devotees, they start associating with devotees who are engaged in devotion service. Slowly they associate, just like the folk devotees, they go on slowly associating. And very naturally one day they'll say, I want to be like you. I don't want to go out into the karmi world and work. I want to serve Krishna. Association. He's seeing, okay, you are doing that. I want to be. So, I was at, okay, so you follow the external spiritual master's instruction, for instance, no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. First we have to struggle for this. We have to follow Guru's instruction. Though Super Soul has directly touched you and brought you to Guru, now the Super Soul will go back. He'll go back. Now he says, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. You get prasada you get the mercy of your external Guru by following his instruction and pleasing him. Now my mercy will be conditional through him only. Then I will release mercy. Before Guru was not there. Okay, I am giving you mercy. I am taking you there, everything. And then afterwards, now I have given you a Guru. Now you follow his instructions. You follow his instruction. In other words, you follow his instruction. Then from me also, from inside, full support will give. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadat. In this way, one becomes successful in engaging in pure devotional service. And gradually, through sadhana bhakti, by the external instructions, external spiritual master's instruction, following all his instructions, we become purified. Completely purified. The more we purified, Prabhupada says elsewhere, more we become purified, more you become capable of hearing the Super Soul. It is not that the Super Soul does not want to instruct us now. Super Soul, if he instructs also, we will not hear. Why we will not hear? Because you won't even hear the instruction. Why? Too much noise. What is the noise? Our mind. Too much noise is there. Continuously we have speculation. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, when we hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra continuously, our mind becomes materially silent. Now material noise is there, materially silent. When our mind becomes materially silent, then naturally we will feel the inspiration, intelligence and determination to serve the Lord. The super soul directs, acts, you need not know. You won't even know. But your entire action, your inspiration for devotion service, everything is coming from the super soul. Because you have chanted your rounds very nicely. And devotee can feel that. Because without inspiration, nobody can do any devotion service. There has to be inspiration. Action means there has to be inspiration. Otherwise it will be very dull. Okay, I have to do this work, I have to do this work. No, every work has to have an inspiration. And with the inspiration, intelligence, how to do that work, direction, all these things come. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
There is a very important role of Guru in the disciple's life.
Very important?
Role of Guru in the disciple's life. So, could you please explain how Srila Prabhupada is offering to his disciples everything that probably a living Guru could offer?
I couldn't make out.
Like Srila Prabhupada, like living Guru can give some direction.
Mic little.
Like a living Guru.
Living Guru.
Can offer some guidance to his disciples and whatever is required for the spiritual progress of the disciple. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada, how is he, though not physically present, is offering everything that a disciple probably needs for spiritual perfection. So could you please elaborate how is he?
This is a very good question. The answer to that, first is Prabhupada executed his duties as a Guru perfectly, that we accept, right? When he was on this earth developing this movement, till 1977, thousands of disciples were there. And Prabhupada, as this Sadguru, he did not obviously fall short of executing his duty as a perfect Guru. Then you work backwards, and if you see, Prabhupada created an institution and a system of Sadhu Sangha, whereby one gets two things. One is Prabhupada wrote books, then he wrote thousands of letters handling different situations, practical situations. While he was doing that, he was also training many leaders. And also he has created a structure, organizational structure. Now all these are only instruments of Guru. And these things, if you have to have faith that Prabhupada is still guiding the world, you have to understand that it is mystically happening. Like we see even in so many times, when we give class, some devotee will come and say, Prabhu, I had this question today, I got it answered. So through the whole system of whatever Prabhupada has set up, there is continuous guidance. Nothing new is required. Whatever pre-77, how Prabhupada conducted this movement, the same way if we conduct, then in a mystical way, everything need not be physically present. That living Guru does not mean physically living. So that's why Shraddha is very important in spiritual master. Shraddha in spiritual master also means Shraddha in the system that he set up. You divest, you separate away the system that he has made, and then if you want to progress in spiritual life, then you don't have Shraddha in the spiritual master. Just like somebody did not want to be in the society. He did not have, Prabhupada was not very pleased. He said, if you want to live, you live. And he wanted to start his own movement. And he started his own movement. He did not have that Shraddha. Prabhupada said, yes, whatever you want to do, you are my disciple. If you don't want to do this, at least do that. Left him. But that is not that means there is no faith. And one of the reasons he was saying was, I want to live because, I can't adjust with so many, all these present leaders are all problematic and this and that, they are all full of false ego, all these things. Everybody is full of false ego only. Only pure devotee is free from false ego. So there is a mystical way in which our false ego goes on decreasing when we work in the association of devotees. When we live in the association of devotees. You go outside also, you have to live in the midst of false egos. There is no escape route. If everybody surrenders to us and feeds our false ego, we are very happy. We will remain in ISKCON. Nobody should have false ego, only I should have false ego. False ego means lauding. My desire, the way I think it should happen, even in service of Krishna, it should happen by my way. So whatever was happening pre-77, even now that if you follow everything that Prabhupada has, Prabhupada's institution is his energy. The way he has told to organize is his intelligence. So we should surrender to his intelligence, then mystically his instruction, his direction will come. Bhakti Yoga is a mystical process. Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashita. The spiritual master within the heart, he gives us Divya Jnana. Very mystical process. We are all mystics. Because you see, so what is going on you cannot see with your eyes, but you know it's happening. Guru is guiding. Prabhupada has brought me. Prabhupada is guiding me. Prabhupada is inspiring me. How the organization is running, how Prabhupada's movement is running, all mystical. This is another aspect of Paramatma. Paramatma maintains our devotional service because he is a maintainer of this material world. That means all systems are standing because of Paramatma. When systems break apart, then you say there is no maintenance. So all things in the material world, even in the karmi world also, business is running, the trade in the material world, money market, there is some kind of stability because it is held by the super soul. Because he is the maintainer of the material world. Whatever it is. Whatever way he wants to maintain, he will maintain, but he is a maintainer. So sometimes devotees also feel very insecure. This is not institution. I don't know how I'll be secure in devotion service. What will happen after some days, some years of old age, this, that, whether I'll get devotion service facility, this, all kinds of things. No. That's why you should. Ultimately, you may be in an institution, you may be in an organization, materially speaking, from the outside world. This is also an organization. That is also Narayan Netralaya is also an organization. This is also another next door, another organization. We should not think like that at all. Devotees don't think like that. Devotees think this is Prabhupada's house. Organization are necessary, it will be there. But his primary thing is it is Prabhupada's house. And I am serving my spiritual master, and mystically these things are happening. So the one who is holding this institution together, holding everything together, many times we feel insecure. Nothing can be relayed up. Thadak karke sab change ho jata hai in the material world. So you feel insecure. These are all material insecurities. But if you have faith in Prabhupada and Krishna, the proof is this. You see, as I keep telling many times in classes, how from first time, when I became temple president, at that time we were far away in the same road. That time it was far away from the city. So we were in a 2-bedroom house. So naturally, our mind is also very young, and we know how will we run. Then we calculate, we see that nobody is working, how money is going to come. We need rent, we need electricity, we need telephone. I have calculated like this: telephone is required, telephone charge is required, this is required, this is required, petrol for one scooter is required, this, all this calculation. And then every month, managed. Sunday feast, some money is required. All this, managed. 1 month over. Then 2 months over. Then next month it will come. 3 months over. Again you think whether it will come next month. Because in the material world, we always have a fixed source. Some money, either you have a job, money comes, or you have wealth, or you have parents, or somebody, you know money is coming. But here you do not know where the money is going to come from. So this is evidence that how Guru and Krishna, how super soul is the one who is holding. And it happens again like that. 1 year, 2 years, then somebody may say, okay, by chance, 1 or 2 years you didn't have problems. Temple got all the money that is required, 1 or 2 years. Then again you are doubting, 1 or 2 years ho gaya, but what do I know tomorrow? What do I know after 2-3 years, how do I know whether it will happen? See, this is doubt. When you have realization that Prabhupada, Krishna is the maintainer, now I am realizing 40 years going on. Without knowing next month where the money will come from. That was at least for a small temple. Small building, small house rent, small budget. It started, I remember it was 20,000 per month only we need to run that temple. It's not only 20,000 per month, now how much we need? We need almost, to run this temple, we need almost 20 crores. Every year. None of us can say next 1 year that 20 crores where it will come from. Even in pandemic it came. People ask evidence. This is evidence. Prabhupada also used to cite this. We have got so many centers and every day we spend so much. And Krishna is providing us everything. None of us go and work in factories. So Paramatma, the super soul, is maintaining. If we are not maintained, karmis are maintained. If we are not maintained, so you should not think this is a material organization. Shraddha, faith is required. Krishna is there, Prabhupada is there, mystically these things are going on. You take your material lens out and throw it. Read Prabhupada's book, understand how devotion service is protected by the Lord. One does not think about one's tomorrow. It is a great opulence. It is a spiritual opulence not to think about tomorrow. If you think about your personal tomorrow, Krishna's preaching tomorrow and all, you can think. My personal tomorrow, if you think, that means you are again, you have lost the opulence. You become poor again. That is the meaning of Brahmana. Brahmana means he does not think of his tomorrow. It's an opulence. Just like the parents, they think, oh, you are joined. How you are joined? You are not thinking of it tomorrow. You are suffering here. You are suffering. But when we join with faith in Krishna, we are not suffering. It's an opulence. We are enjoying. You all have to think about tomorrow. I don't have to think about tomorrow. I only have to think about Krishna's tomorrow. I don't have to think about my tomorrow. Any other question? Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.